Look, do you really think I've fallen seriously in love with you? What? It dawned on me that Mike never truly loved me, and I felt dizzy. He continued to berate me. I'm busy with work every day. I just wanted a wife to take care of the house. And now you go and get sick, hospitalized with a heart condition. I don't want to be married to a sick old lady. I felt my world go even darker, but then I remembered something I saw earlier. With that, I knew I had nothing to fear. I had a strong ally, and losing Mike didn't seem like a loss at all. Fine. I had a strong ally, and losing Mike didn't seem like a loss at all. But I planned to give Mike, who had used me and rekindled a romance with his ex-girlfriend while I was hospitalized, a taste of his own medicine. I'm Kelly. I'm a 45-year-old housewife who recently got married. Until my mid-40s, my life was a simple routine of work and home. My pleasures were occasional drinking, shopping, and buying lottery tickets as a yearly ritual, hoping for happiness someday. That's when I came across a dating app for people in their 40s. I'd been to matchmaking parties before but never found the right match. I started the app casually, never imagining it would lead me to my husband. He is 3 years older than me, Mike Manson. He is a director in a company with over 1,000 employees, earning around $200,000 a year. He seemed dedicated and hardworking. Curious why such a good man was still single, I casually asked him on our first date. He shyly smiled. Well, I've been too busy with work to find the right opportunity. Indeed, managing a large team is demanding. But Mike, feeling lonely, had started using the dating app. His shy response made him shine brightly in my eyes. Gradually, I was drawn to Mike. And he seemed to like me too. He said, "Actually, I've never thought there were any good meeting, but I'm glad to meet the women like you, Kelly." Me too, I was just thinking to give up to meet someone. I also have never thought I could meet the good man like you, in this app. We both felt it was a miraculous meeting and smiled at each other. It didn't take long for us to consider marriage. We married within 6 months of meeting. The day before I got married, I bought my last bachelor lottery ticket, thinking this could be my last. Right after our wedding, Mike made a request. I'm swamped with work, so splitting house chores isn't gonna work for me. I want you, Kelly, to quit your job and stay home. What? Well, my mom was a housewife, so focusing on household duties isn't a big deal for me. I agreed to Mike's request and decided to quit my job after getting married. Then came the joyful days of our newlywed life. Mike seemed so happy eating the meals I cooked, saying they were delicious. It was a joy I hadn't felt during my lonely, single days. However, this happiness was short-lived, something I couldn't have imagined at the time. Within a month of marriage, Mike's attitude changed drastically. At first, even if he worked late, he would come straight home. But recently, it's not uncommon for him to come home in the middle of the night. Even when I waited with dinner ready, he'd come home and say, "I already ate. Don't need it." I wished he had told me earlier, as I struggled to hold back my hurt feelings while cleaning up the uneaten food. You made fish, my least favorite, after I come home tired? I can't eat this poor thing. Make something with meat. But there's no meat today, so can you make do with this? I'll make a meat dish tomorrow. If there's none, go buy some. I want meat, so make it now. Despite it being past 9 p.m., he sent me to the supermarket just before closing to buy meat. Mike's arrogance wasn't limited to meals. Even with my careful cleaning, he always found something to complain about. Tall Mike would run his finger over high places like the top of a tall cabinet and yell, "Here. There's still dust here." As a short person, I couldn't reach those spots without a stool. It felt like harassment the way he pointed them out. I can't reach such high places often, I'll do it during a year-end cleaning day. Don't point it out every day. Even when I said that, Mike would reply with a look of disgust. Until the year-end cleaning day, you'll just let dust accumulate up there? Short people really are useless. I was hurt by his belittling of my height, but I couldn't retort, fearing what he might say next. So, I endured silently, no matter what he said. Taking advantage of this, Mike criticized everything I did around the house. He just lay there, saying he was tired. Initially, I thought he was a kind man, but his true colors showed more each day. Still, I told myself, this is what marriage is like, and endured, having finally married at this age. Lately, though, I've been feeling strange palpitations and pain in my chest. What's this? Well, it'll probably pass soon. I was concerned about this discomfort but neglected it, which might have been a mistake. My condition worsened, leading to severe breathlessness and dizziness. Unable to bear it anymore, I decided to get a checkup at the hospital. The symptoms were from a heart disease caused by stress. The daily mental strain was taking a heavy toll on my body. I had to be hospitalized for a while. When I went home to prepare for my stay, I informed Mike, but instead of concern, he frowned and said, "What? You're gonna be in the hospital for a long time? Who's gonna take care of the house? Who will do the chores? I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but while I'm in the hospital, please manage with takeout or ready-made meals. There's a dryer for laundry, and the house won't get that dirty with just one person." Hey, are you telling me to do all the housework? That's impossible with my busy schedule. I'm sorry, but you'll just have to bear with it until I get discharged. I begged desperately, but Mike remained sullen. Unbelievable, you can't even do housework properly, and now you're going to the hospital. You're really useless. Remember this when you get back. As I faced Mike's harsh words, I started preparing for the hospital alone. Feeling guilty as if I were running away from the situation. Even though it wasn't my fault. The next morning, Mike was still in a bad mood and didn't even see me off to the hospital, leaving early for work. I had no choice but to go to the hospital alone, carrying my bags. During my stay, Mike never visited. I had suspected this might happen and brought everything I needed, including a change of clothes. Still, the hospital room felt incredibly lonely without any visitors. To distract myself from the boredom, I surfed the internet on my phone. One day, I received a strange message notification in my messaging app. It was from Mike, but the content left me stunned. "Julie, I love you. I'll be done with work soon, wait for me." I was about to mark it as read when it suddenly showed, "Message deleted." Who was Julie? And why such a gentle message, unlike any he sent to me? Could it be that Mike was cheating? As this worrying thought crossed my mind, my chest began to hurt again. I quickly pressed the nurse call button. Fortunately, it was a minor attack, and following the nurse's instructions, the pain subsided in about 5 minutes. The nurse advised, "Stress is bad for you. Try to think of something pleasant," but what could I possibly think about? Then I remembered the lottery ticket I had bought before our marriage. The drawing was yesterday. As a distraction, I checked the lottery numbers on the official website on my phone. To my amazement, the words "Congratulations on your win" displayed on my account page left me almost speechless. Wow, no way! Can't believe it! I was counting the digits of the amount I had won, still in shock. Then, the door to my hospital room opened, and Mike walked in. Behind him was a woman in her early 30s, someone I didn't recognize. She was like a flashy looking. "Hey, you holding up okay?" Mike asked me casually. "How can I be okay? I'm hospitalized. And you haven't even shown your face here until now." "Well, of course. Who do you think has been busy because of you? Between work and house chores, I've had a rough time." As usual, Mike was only concerned about his own busyness, indifferent to my condition. I replied with a forced smile. "Oh, I see. Sorry for the trouble." Unfazed by my displeased demeanor, Mike grinned back. "Kelly, you really lack charm. But it's fine now. You don't have to worry about any inconveniences anymore. You can stay in the hospital as long as you need." "What do you mean by that?" His words filled me with anxiety. Then Mike put his arm around the woman's shoulder and said proudly, "Now, she's taking care of things for me. Right, Julie?" Julie was the name in the message earlier. She smiled coyly, snuggling up to Mike. Who is she? That woman? Heh, surprised, aren't you? Since you're useless, I reached out to Julie, my ex. She still loves me and came running to help. Proudly, Mike boasted. I tried to remain calm and asked. Oh, an old acquaintance came to help out? Sorry for the trouble. I still need to stay in the hospital for a while. Mike and Julie burst into laughter. Funny. This wife of yours is a bit off, huh? She doesn't get it. Well, can't help it. She never had a boyfriend until her mid-40s. They looked at me with utter disdain. Of course, I knew. I could tell they were having an affair. I wanted to say it, but getting upset would only strain my heart. So, I stayed calm, but Mike said something outrageous. Anyway, I don't need a weak, older woman anymore. From now on, I'll be with Julie all the time. While saying this, Mike thrust a piece of paper with green writing at me. It meant he wanted a divorce. Even though I had been trying to stay calm, I couldn't hide my agitation. Why? You broke up with her once, right? You chose to be with me, and now you want to get back together with your ex? When I asked this, Mike responded with a look of disdain. Do you really think I ever seriously fell in love with you? What? I felt like I was being hit with the reality that Mike never truly loved me, and my head started spinning. Mike continued his tirade. That's why. I'm busy with work every day. I just wanted a wife to take care of the house. And then you go and get hospitalized with a heart condition. I'm divorcing a sick old woman. My world grew even darker, but then I remembered something I had seen earlier. If I had that, I wouldn't need to fear anything. With this thought, I regained my composure and replied to Mike. Fine. Mike was taken aback by my unexpected reaction. Huh? You're really okay with it? You know you have nowhere to go without me, don't act tough. I'm not acting tough. Just make sure to file this divorce paper, okay? I signed the divorce paper and handed it back to Mike. Yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll file it tomorrow or something. Mike said this but still looked puzzled. Julie was staring at me with a smug smile. You must have realized you can't compete with my youth and beauty, even if you're struggling financially. Yeah, that's right. I'm proud to have Julie, the #1 at the club, all to myself. Even when we dated before, I thought she'd leave me for a younger man. No matter how popular I was at the club, I always only had eyes for Mike. Once the divorce is filed, we can immediately submit our marriage papers. Club? #1? I was startled, and Mike quickly covered her mouth. I had thought he was working hard, but he had been frequenting that kind of place. Now that I think about it, even after we got married, there were nights he came home late, claiming he was out drinking after overtime. His late returns claiming he had already eaten seemed suspicious. Seeing the doubt on my face, Julie exclaimed, "Who cares? Anyway, Mike and I are getting together now, so you're no longer needed, old lady." With that, Julie grabbed Mike's arm and they left the room. While I was going through a difficult hospital stay, Mike decided to remarry his affair partner. I couldn't forgive Mike. Parting with him only brought relief, though. Before that, I decided to give Mike a taste of his own medicine and planned my revenge. After resting in the hospital room and successfully recovering, I finally got permission to be discharged. Since Mike remarried and moved to Julie's apartment, I was left to live alone in our former residence. Immediately after returning home, I went to the designated bank to cash in the winning lottery ticket. Given the amount, it would take about a week to receive the funds. During that time, I searched online for a good lawyer to investigate Mike's past relationships. Was he really done with Julie before marrying me? If their relationship had continued, I could claim alimony. Once the lottery winnings were secured, I found a lawyer and requested an investigation. As it turned out, Mike had indeed continued his relationship with Julie. Julie, a former club hostess, was as popular as Mike had claimed. They had been together since then, never actually breaking up. Essentially, Mike married me while maintaining his relationship with her, treating me more like a housekeeper. This realization made my blood boil. However, to avoid worsening my health, I needed to stay calm. I wanted to confront Mike and demand alimony right away, but I decided to leave everything to my lawyer and wait for the right time. Soon, Mike called me.
Hey! Why did a lawyer suddenly show up demanding alimony for adultery? What's this all about?
Just as the lawyer said. Pay up quickly, or I'm fine with taking this to court.
Shut up. First of all, where did you get the money to hire a lawyer? Court cases cost money too. You must have spent a fortune on hospital bills.
Mike, unaware of my financial situation, tried to use it against me. But he didn't realize his careless words had backfired. Right. Despite being married, you didn't contribute to my hospital expenses. The lawyer said I could claim that from you too. Mike's careless words turned the situation in my favor. Realizing his mistake, he didn't say anything more. I could hear a woman's voice in the background, "Give me your phone." Probably Julie eavesdropping.
How dare you demand alimony? You broke down your own body and neglected your husband. I was the one who took care of him in your place. Aha, that's right.
Mike chimed in, encouraged by having Julie on his side. But I remained calm and responded. Didn't the lawyer tell you? We've already investigated your ongoing affair with Julie even after our marriage. I hired a competent lawyer, so there's no escape for you.
Stop bluffing. You keep saying this, but you don't have the money.
Oh, that's right. Despite his high income, you only gave me $2,400 a month for living expenses. I had to manage rent, high heating bills, and groceries with just that. Could that also contribute to the alimony claim? Indeed, Mike's treatment towards me had been terrible in every aspect. No matter what he said now, it would only dig his own grave. If this went to court, it's clear that I'd have the upper hand. Especially with my meticulously kept household budget app as evidence. Mike still thought I was just bluffing.
A competent lawyer, really? That lawyer must be nothing special. I won't be fooled.
So, I sent Mike the website link of the law firm I found online. I hired this law firm. You've got their business card, right? The website featured the photo of the lawyer I was working with. Seeing that page, Mike must have been astounded. This is a pretty famous law firm, isn't it? Where did you get the money to hire them? Mike sounded panicked, so it seemed like the right time to reveal the truth.
Actually, I won this year's lottery, totaling up to $1 billion with the before and after prizes.
What? Mike and Julie seemed shocked by my revelation.
No way. I never heard about you buying lottery tickets.
I bought them with my own money before we got married. I didn't need to report every little thing to you, did I? There was silence for a while. Then, Mike sounded panicked.
You're home, right? I'm coming over now.
What could Mike possibly want now, coming over all of a sudden? About 20 minutes later, Mike arrived at my house alone. Surprisingly, with a cheerful expression. Kelly, I came to discuss property division. Property division? I was dumbfounded by Mike's audacity, showing up like this and making such an absurd request. Well, yeah. The lottery ticket was bought before our marriage, but you cashed it in after we got married. Doesn't that mean I'm entitled to half as shared marital property? Sorry, but that's not going to work. I cashed it in after our divorce was finalized. Besides, the divorce was due to your affair.
Come on, don't say that. We were once married, so give me at least a quarter.
Mike pleaded, hands clasped together. I flatly rejected him, saying only what's convenient for himself. No way.
I'm not just talking about property division here. I need to get the alimony from you.
Oh, about that. Mike seemed desperate, trying to come up with something that would work in his favor. Listen, I was actually deceived by that woman. She was just dazzled by my job and came after me. Being a night worker, she must have other clients and, other guys she's dating. So what? What are you trying to say? Basically, I'm a victim here, not someone who cheated. Of course, I'll break up with her and never cheat again. So, can we start over? I was dumbfounded by his audacity.
You really think that lame excuse is going to fly? There's no doubt you cheated. Look, here's all the evidence.
I said this and spread out the photos the lawyer had collected as evidence of Mike's affair. The photos showed Mike with his arm around Julie, entering and exiting a hotel, and in compromising situations in a park. All clear evidence of his infidelity.
Damn it! Gathering all this against me.
Mike picked up the photos, clearly upset. Then Julie appeared. She had apparently followed Mike but stayed hidden to observe.
Hey! Mike, what do you mean I deceived you? Don't make things up. You were the one crying and begging me to take you back.
Julie, you heard that? Mike was clearly at a loss for words. Julie, having heard everything, was furious.
Don't look down on me because I used to work in a club. I've always loved you, even after we broke up. How are you going to make up for these feelings?
Oh, sorry. Mike was completely overwhelmed by the two women. I was so happy when you came back to me, but you trampled on my feelings. I'll be demanding alimony from you too.
Hey, why do I have to pay alimony to my affair partner? Affair partner? We were legally married, even if it was just for a month. It was an affair originally, wasn't it?
Seeing Mike's distressed face, I couldn't help but feel like laughing. Mike, women's hearts aren't that easy to win over. Mike seemed utterly defeated by my words. It looked like the situation was settled, so I decided to call in one more person who had been listening in the shadows. It's time for you to come out. What? There's someone else here? At my cue, a person waiting in the next room came in. Hello, I've heard everything.
It's you, the lawyer from that time.
Yes, this was the lawyer who had told me, please contact me anytime you need. So when Mike said he was coming over, I immediately informed the lawyer. He had entered my house quietly through the back door and waited in the next room. Mike, as Kelly told you, you have no right to the property division. And regarding the alimony, considering Ms. Julie's involvement, we'll review that too. After the lawyer spoke, Mike stood there with his mouth agape, in a state of shock. This resolved everything, and I felt a huge relief. Later, I received alimony from Mike and settled the property division by splitting his earnings during our marriage. Mike divorced Julie and now lives alone. His company, a strict major corporation, got wind of his affairs and successive divorces, leading to his dismissal. Apparently, his flashy relationships had already put him on his boss's radar. So the divorce news spread quickly. I haven't seen Mike since then, but there was a person who informed me about all this. It was Julie, his affair partner. She came to my house to apologize, showing remorse for her actions.
I'm sorry. I'll pay back the alimony gradually with my earnings. Please wait for it.
Julie apologized deeply. However, I refused the alimony from Julie. As it turned out, Julie hadn't had a stable job since leaving the club scene. Initially managing with her savings, her extravagant lifestyle soon depleted her funds. Therefore, she clung to Mike for financial support.
I really did love Mike. I know this is just an excuse to say this, but...
she said with sincerity in her eyes. That's why I decided to let things go easily with Julie. Mike, having lost his job and struggling with alimony payments, was evicted from his apartment due to unpaid rent. Then he came to me with a sullen look in his eyes.
Kelly, I was really wrong. Please forgive me just this once. I'll do anything you say, just let me stay here. I won't ask for money, just let me stay.
He begged with a pitiful voice. I casually replied. Fine. Stay here as long as you like.
Really? Oh, thank you.
I let Mike into the house. But that night, while he was asleep, I packed my things. I had already arranged a new place to move into recently. By dawn, when Mike woke up, the moving truck had arrived. "What's going on? Where are you going with all this stuff?" "Oh, I'm moving out today." "You know this house is rented, right? You'll have to pay the rent yourself now. It's $2,000 a month."
"What? I can't afford that now. You tricked me."
"I haven't tricked you. I just said you could stay here. Good luck with the rent. Bye." Leaving those words behind, I left the house. Since then, I've cancelled my cell phone and made it impossible for Mike to ever contact me again. Of course, I haven't given him my new address either. Sometime later, I bumped into the landlord of the house where Mike and I used to live together. When I asked how Mike was doing, it turned out he had left because he couldn't pay the rent. No one knows where he went. Well, I've left Mike to his own devices and am now living a luxurious life in my dream high-rise apartment. The urban landscape is visible from my window, offering the perfect location. Since parting ways with Mike, my health has completely recovered, thanks to the absence of stress. The fitness room on the first floor of the high-rise allows me to exercise every day. Plus, since pets are allowed, I've started keeping a Pomeranian, which I've always loved. Her name is Mocha, and she's now my precious family member. Despite winning $1 billion in the lottery, I can't just spend my days in leisure. I've always enjoyed working, so I decided to get rehired at the company I worked for before getting married. Coincidentally, I saw a mid-career recruitment advertisement on a job site the day I moved. When I inquired, it turned out they had been struggling to find good talent after my departure. When I requested to be re-employed, my former boss was thrilled. Now, I've got a comfortable living space and a familiar work environment, achieving my ideal lifestyle. While I might not have been blessed with a happy marriage, I'm now fully enjoying life in my own way. This is, after all, the greatest happiness for me now.